Now let us discuss the structure of the kidneys, which form an important organ of your urinary system, the excretory system. As you can see in the image that these kidneys are the bean shaped organs. So what are kidneys? Kidneys are the bean shaped organs which are 10 centimeter long and 6 centimeter wide. 10 centimeter long and 6 centimeter wide. The right side kidney is slightly lower than the left. So the right side kidney, it is going to be slightly lower than the left side kidney. Now when you look at the diagrammatic explanation of this, an image like this, you will see that from here, from this median portion of the kidneys, which we call as hilum. What do we call it as? We call it as hilum. It's a notch. From this notch, from this median portion, a tube arises, and this tube is known as ureter. From each kidney, from its notch, this tube is going to arise here also, from here also, and it is known as ureter. So ureter arises from the notch, which is known as hilum, and connects behind with this bladder, which is called as urinary bladder, right? It is known as urinary bladder. The front end of the ureter, it is expanded into pelvis. So if you look here, then the ureter's front end is expanded into the kidney, inside the kidney, and here we call it as pelvis. We call it as pelvis over here. So urine from the ureter is going to collect here in the urinary bladder, and from the urinary bladder it is going to pass through your body out by this urethra, right, by this urethra. And here we have some circular muscles which we call as sphincter, which guards the opening of the bladder into urethra and relaxes only at the time of urination. So they are going to relax at the time of urination only. So just remember that kidneys are the bean shaped organs which are 10 centimeter long and 6 centimeter wide approximately. The right side kidney is slightly lower than the left, and from each kidney median expression, the ureter, the tube arises, and this tube ureter, it is going to lead to urinary bladder, and from urinary bladder the urine is going to pass out of your body from the urethra, and urethra we have sphincter, that is circular muscles which guards the opening of bladder into urethra and relaxes only at the time of urination. Now let us look at the longitudinal section of a kidney. In the kidneys we have two main regions, the outer dark cortex and inner lighter medulla. So we have the outer dark cortex and the inner light medulla. When you look at the inner light medulla, you see that there are these curves, right? You just look at these curves, right? And these curves, they are going to contain the nephrons. What are the nephrons? Nephrons, you can call them as renal tubules, and these renal tubules or the nephrons, they are the functional unit of the kidneys. What are they? Nephrons or the renal tubules are the functional unit of the kidneys. So just remember that when you talk about the internal structure of a kidney, then we have two main regions, the outer dark cortex and the inner lighter medulla. The outer dark cortex and the inner lighter medulla, and you can see here that this is what? This is the ureter, and I told you that it is expanded into the inside of the kidney, and here we call it as pelvis. So it's known as renal pelvis, right? And here just remember we have renal vein and a renal artery also. We have renal vein and renal artery, and these are the projections which we call as papilla. We call them as papilla, right? So this is the longitudinal section of a kidney. Now we will be discussing about the functional units of kidney, that is the nephrons.